Hi, everybody. Welcome to this next movie review. As you can see, we are here in Campus Ministry, and today I have a very special guest, Father Edwin. Father Edwin, how you doing?
Hey, great man. How are you?
Doing well, doing well. Glad to be back on campus for a little bit, and now that this quarantine's coming to an end, and miss having the students here. Of course, it's very quiet, and there's barely no one around, so that'll change soon, though. That'll change once August rolls around. Be nice and loud around here. So today we want to talk about not a specific movie, but a particular device that movie makers will use and how it can relate to our spiritual life, and that is the fourth wall break. Father Edwin, what is a fourth wall break?
Well, I'm no film expert, but I think so in film, it's a technique that filmmakers will use where they allow the audience to come into the film, or where either the actor or a particular scene in the movie makes a break where they start talking to the audience, reminding the audience that they are an audience.
It's where someone on stage or someone in the movie will directly address. And I think the reason why it's called fourth wall is typically if you have a room like this, there's a wall right here. We assume that there's two other walls, but then the camera is like, it's looking through that fourth wall, so to speak. And when that fourth wall is broken, it means that all of a sudden one of the actors on stage is kind of gazing back through that invisible fourth wall that typically makes up the room where a theatrical piece or a movie would take place. Awesome. So let's talk about what are some of your favorite movies where this appears. Give us some examples.
Cool. Well, just one recent one that I saw was Ferris Bueller's Day Off, and the whole movie. I mean, Ferris is going through like trying to take this day off from school and trying to sneak away, trying to fool his parents that he's sick, and I think the inner dialogue between, like, it's kind of what's going through his head, right? Like, you think about anytime you're doing something risky or something where you're, I might get caught here, like I might get in trouble. All those inner thoughts and like that inner turmoil, just for it to be audible, and for me as a watching the movie, it kind of brings extra comedy to it, because like I've definitely thought that before, or I've gone through that inner struggle. I think it's funny, like I saw a video about SpongeBob SquarePants, about how there was so many fourth wall breaks in SpongeBob that I'd never really paid attention to. And maybe not necessarily like either SpongeBob or Patrick or any of the other characters addressing the audience, but where all of a sudden like a dude in a gorilla suit is like underwater in Bikini Bottom, and like kind of bringing reality into the fantasy of SpongeBob.
Right, there's like real filmed aspects that end up in the cartoon, like would have had to been filmed in real life. It was not drawn,
Right.
So they add like actual video footage to the cartoon. That's so funny. Who doesn't love SpongeBob, right?
Yeah,
right?
Fan favorite.
Dude, I love him. I'll have to go to the Krusty Krab after this or something.
Yeah,
Grab a
yeah.
burger. Oh wait, it's shut down because of quarantine.
Poor guys. Curbside pickup.
Curbside pickup. There we go. Curbside pickup, man. Boat side pickup. Okay, so yeah, there's this element in movie making. I think one of the others that we mentioned was Fiddler on the Roof. So in that movie, we have Tevye, who is the main character, and right away in the movie, he's kind of introducing us to his life, his small village life, and the traditions that he has. And as those traditions are challenged and he adapts, and he kind of like his fatherly heart becomes enlarged into the needs of his children, he continues to like fill us in. This is a point that I continually make to. So we have a movies and meaning club that we're doing virtually online. So shout out to all those members. And one of the things I constantly remind them of is the analogy of the theater, if you remember from seminary, Dr. Solis, and that the theater or cinema is an analogy for life. It's something where it's almost like the world before us is a stage, and sometimes we're the audience looking at the world. Sometimes we're the main character, we're the protagonist on stage, and the story is about us. But anytime that we go to watch a movie or see a play, our role as the audience is very important, because if the audience wasn't there, there would be no play. If the audience wasn't there, there would be no movie. It would just be film footage and it would just be people reciting lines on a stage. It would be practice. It would be rehearsal. Yeah. It's not a play until the audience shows up. It's not a movie until someone, clicks play and it's streaming to their TV, and now they're engaged with it. And really, we're meant to really walk along with those characters that are on the stage and feel what they feel and engage in that dialogue that tells us something deeper about life. And so these fourth wall breaks are all the more interesting because it directly acknowledges that. It's like a personal gaze from the stage to kind of the heart of the audience member. And very interestingly, it's a powerful way that movies can really, literally speak to us.
Right. Yeah, and that's what draws you in, especially a movie or a TV series. Like why people binge, Netflix series is because they fall in love with characters, or they want to find out what's going to happen to their beloved characters, like in the following episodes. So.
Yeah, and like, will they live? Will they die? Will this love story work out? Because that's us. Like. Mm-hmm. Will I live or will I die? Will this love story in my life work out? Whatever it may be. Can I overcome my own challenges? It's interesting to us because it speaks to us. So we got the old scriptures here, the old Jesus book.
We got a priest on here.
All right, we gotta have the Bible. We are in campus ministry. Tell us about fourth wall breaks and how it can help us to truly understand the nature of these words on a.
So whenever you approach scripture, you approach the Bible, many people say that the Bible is more of a library because it's compiled with so many different books. And then, you look at the New Testament, it's all these different, gospels and letters from same stories and parables of Jesus. And so one way that has helped me personally, and I know others, is whenever you go to read scripture, is that you're not going to study scripture. You're not going there to, draw some kind of, like Pope Benedict talks about having these magisterial magisterial teachings that you could draw from scriptures, which are true. Like a lot of things that we teach and believe are founded in scripture. And I think it was in his introduction to Jesus of Nazareth that he talks about, it's like, this isn't an academic endeavor, but it's just me personally seeking the face of God. Mm-hmm. It's a personal search for the face of God, for the face of Jesus, as he's talking and writing about these scriptures in the New Testament. So having an encounter with Jesus in the scriptures, and especially in the New Testament, you could find a reading that it might speak to you in a personal way. It might be able to speak to something that you're going through or something that someone else is going through, to just understand it. And so having that intimate encounter with God and with Jesus through this, revelation, that's given to us through the scriptures. It helps you as not just you go from being simply a reader to having an actual encounter with Jesus and beginning a dialogue through prayer.
Right, and that reminds me of the other Pope Benedict quote, which, as I told you, I can't remember it exactly, or I can't remember where to find it, but basically Benedict says something along the lines of, the main purpose of this book, of reading the Bible, is to have a real encounter with Christ. Like, the theme of the book is Christ. It's not, so we can go to the scriptures to learn theology, we can go to the scriptures to study it, etc., but the actual spiritual meaning behind the scriptures, the most important meaning behind the scriptures, is that we encounter this person of Christ. Not just about like, this book is about Jesus and I'm reading this book and so I'm learning about Christ and that's how I encounter Christ. No, it's that the resurrected Christ is literally going to speak something to your heart. It's a fourth wall break. So that's the connection here, is there comes a point where when you're reading the scriptures, the expectation is, as Christians, that God is going to break that fourth wall and look directly at me, directly into my heart, and say something that speaks to either a situation that I'm in, or maybe it's a grace that I'm seeking from God, or maybe I just feel confused about life and I just have to open the scriptures, and then there's some word that satiates my soul with peace and kind of quiets that discomfort or a dis-ease that might fill us at times. And so, yeah, it's a powerful analogy, a fourth wall break. really shows us that the true meaning of Scripture really is to encounter a person who's speaking to us in that moment about our real life, and that person is Jesus Christ.
Exactly. So he breaks through our deafness, he breaks through our blindness, breaks through our ignorance at times. So, pick up the Bible, open it up, read it. Read it before you have breakfast, read it before you go to bed. Take it with you on your trips. Make it a point to make it a habit, to be able to open the scriptures and to enter into it with that expectation. The same way you go to a movie theater, well, now we can't, but hopefully soon. But yeah, plop down on the couch and you're expecting to be able to enter into that story, or whatever you're watching, like you become an active participant.
Yeah, maybe at times like movies are inspiring to us, or maybe they might change. They might be so powerful that they kind of like they soften our hearts, maybe, and they change the way that we're feeling that day. Or maybe they change the way that we see the world if we see a good documentary and wow, my eyes are open. I didn't know this was happening in our world. We go to movies to have those type of experiences. And the most powerful experience we can have is encountering Christ in the scriptures. And as you know, one of the places that the church 100% says that Christ is present in the liturgy. The first part is the scriptures, the reading of scripture, the liturgy of the word, and the second part is the liturgy of the Eucharist. So it's even more powerful when we go to Mass on Sunday, or maybe every day for some of you, and we're hearing Christ's voice coming to us through the scriptures that we're reading, through the homily that the priest gives. It's an active, actual thing that's happening. Someone is speaking to us through a book, through the words that we hear at Mass, etc. So powerful stuff, man. Powerful stuff. Just some fun questions. What's your favorite movie, man?
Favorite movie of all time? Funny enough, Titanic. I think it's one of the one. I mean, just the story. I don't really get into the romance. I think people are in the middle of the ocean. I mean, it's based on a historical event, but I just just the cinematography of it, and like I think is it James Williams? No, what's his name? James Cameron.
James Cameron.
Yeah, phenomenal director.
Totally.
Avatar would be like a close second. I guess James Cameron films. Yeah. Yeah.
Didn't he also do? Did he do Terminator?
I think so.
I think he did the original Terminator. Yeah, fact check in the comments below.
Yeah.
That's cool, man. Well, as we continue our movie series, I'm really thankful that you're able to join us, and you're always welcome back. Maybe we can do Titanic one of these times. I think that would be great. I would love to do Titanic.
3 hours, you can make it. You can
3 hour, and maybe we can just like watch a little bit of the movie and then pause it and break down each scene. I'm just kidding. That would be torture. But I think Titanic's a great movie too. So yeah, let's do it someday. Father Edwin, thank you so much. To all our viewers at home, thank you as well. Please open the scriptures. Take your love for movies. Take this metaphysical journey of meaning that we've been on, and let's dive into the scriptures with it as well. Hopefully, you'll have a deep encounter with the Lord there, and He'll speak something to your heart. Thanks again, Father Edwin.
Very welcome.
All right. Thanks, guys.